Respected Chairman, other dignitaries on the dais, and friends. So I'll be talking for about half an hour on various environmental legislations, what the legislation say, what is our compliance, and what we need to do. So if you say, if you take throughout the world, there are 4 things which are causing pollution. Number 1, you all know, the industries, because they generate wastewater, emissions, hazardous waste. Number 2, automobiles. Everywhere automobile pollution in the city. Third one is excess use of pesticides. We have been using a lot of pests for the food production. And the danger with the pests is it seeps into the soil, and whenever there is a rain, it joins the nearby water course and travels kilometers. So when we drink that water, the pest remains in the body for a long time and we'll get ill health. So excess use of pesticides is also recognized as one of the sources of pollution. And the 4th one is the population. Because due to population, the sewage is generated, the sullage is generated, and industries are, in fact, there are in some pockets. But if you go to a village, in front of the house there is a drain, backside there is a drain, and solid waste is everywhere. And according to latest World Bank survey, 70% of the waterborne diseases are caused because of the sewage. So unless we address these 4 problems, then we can never say the pollution control is complete. So after all, why should we control this pollution? Is it really necessary? Because many of the industries, they come to me and say, sir, I am running 100 crore turnover company. I have calculated the loss that is caused by my unit is only 2%. So shall we really bother for this 2% or go ahead with the pollution control? I'll tell you one example. We are using this air conditioning room, we are enjoying the AC. If somebody says, sir, during the manufacturing of air conditioning, what are generated? The chlorofluorocarbons are generated. So what is the effect of chlorofluorocarbons? So they come and deplete the ozone layer. If the ozone layer is depleted, the ultraviolet radiations will directly come onto the earth, and the moment you go out, you will have a skin cancer and eye ailments. So if somebody asks you, shall we enjoy the AC for some time and go out have a skin cancer, or not to have AC at all? Yes or no? So not to have an AC at all, if you cannot control the so-called emissions that are generated from the mammoth 1,000 crore turnover company of air conditioning. Is it not? So that is the importance of pollution control. Similarly, in and around Hyderabad, you know, Jeedimatla, Patancheru, Bolaram, Kazipalli. Initially, when the industries have started, people welcomed the industries, thinking that the area will improve, they all will get employment. But within 5 years, they understood that they are living in a airborne diseases area and whole groundwater is contaminated. Immediately they said, we don't want industry. We want potable water and a clean air. They went up to the Supreme Court, 1056 of 90, in 90 itself. So Supreme Court ordered for a lot of compensation in crores of rupees, supply of protected drinking water. So still the case is pending in the Supreme Court. With result, we banned all the industries in and around Hyderabad, including expansions. So shall we really bother for pollution control or not necessary? So this is almost a compulsory. Unless you control the so-called 2% or whatever emissions that are generated, you will not be allowed to function. So after all, what we need to do to control these emissions or effluents? So what we require is a legislation, is it not? Unless you have a legislation, unless you have a standard, you don't know whether you are complying or not. That's how the genesis of legislations have come. First time in 1972, the world-renowned scientists, environmentalists, administrators, they had a high-level summit at, where they had a summit in 72? Stockholm, and expressed a concern over the growing pollution problems globally, because the pollution control is not limited to a place, not limited to a country also. It's a global phenomenon. If you pollute at one place, you find the effect at some other place. Where we found the ozone depletion? So where there is no pollution at all. So thinking of that, they decided that the legislation should be there to control the pollution. Till then there was no much legislation. You can start the industry, you can discharge your effluents, you can leave your emissions. So with result, first time we made the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974. So I will show you all this. So we have set of regulations. So these are the legislations which are in force. You like it or not, you are supposed to comply with the legislations. If you see, interestingly, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974, amended in 78, see, whenever you make a law, the law should be very, very clear. If there is any loophole, though the industry knows, the Pollution Control Board can always check, but they almost object. Immediately, once you give an order, they are going to the appellate authority, they are going to the High Court, they are going to Supreme Court. So the law should be very, very clear. Unless you have a clear section, you cannot really implement the law. So in 1974, I'll tell you a small example. They have written regarding the inspections, the Pollution Control Board can inspect the industry during reasonable hours. But when the pollution is taking place, reasonable hours or odd hours? In the odd hours. So when you wanted to inspect the industry, people were objecting, showing that section. Sir, this is not a reasonable time. Please come tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So that is the importance of law. That is the importance of a particular section. So immediately it was amended in 1978, saying that the Pollution Control Board can inspect all the times. So unless you have a clarity of law, you cannot really implement. So even in the 74 law, they said the Pollution Control Board can file a case with the first class magistrates. There were no powers given to the Pollution Control Boards or to the governments. So we used to, the Pollution Control Board has formed in 1975 and came into effect from 76. And we used to file the case with the first class magistrates for the happening pollution. Then, you know, in the court, the polluting industry and the affected public are same. They ask for a lot of evidences. So the pollution control is such a dynamic situation, it changes almost every minute. Suppose you know that Pollution Control Board officials are coming, will it be like that? Huh? Will it be like that? You'll switch on everything and you'll make like a garden, exemplary thing. So in the court, they used to say, sir, we have improved. So there is an adjournment. After 6 months again, they used to say there is some improvement, again adjournment. So it was only going on without any impact for control of pollution. So 1984 is the landmark for environmental legislation. What happened in 84? Bhopal gas tragedy took place. The MIC gas escaped and thousands of people were killed. So there was lot of pressure on the governments to make an executive law, a law which can immediately stop pollution. With result, they made this Environment Protection Act of 1986, the fourth one, under which the governments were given powers to stop electricity and also the water supply. In general, you can prohibit the industrial activity itself. So that is supposed to be the powerful act, but only governments were permitted. But subsequently, the Water Act was amended in 1988, giving similar powers of EP Act to pollution control boards. So I can say from 1988 onwards, the pollution control legislation, sir, the combat against pollution has started seriously. So we are in 2014. Even if you take 1998, how many years are over? How many years are over even after the powerful law? So you feel the pollution has come down, increased or decreased or as it is? Huh? Come down? Increased. Then what are we doing? What is the responsibility of the industry? See, you have set up an industry, you know what you need to do. Then why governor? Why you are not following your own laws? But you don't want to implement on your own.